welcome everybody to our construction meeting.
Put your microphone on, sir.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to our construction meeting here. First order of business, we'll have a moment of silence. Attending this meeting is going to be myself, John Simmons, our chair. He's appointed 2 members, Mr. Bradley Phillips and Mr. Craig, and Mr. Leach is also on board. We have Dr. Terry Locklear that's online. Our first order of business is going to be an update on the Career Center, Mr. Bobby Locklear.
Just real quick, folks. I was looking at TV today at 12:30, and I had never seen it before, but it come on, flashed on TV, public announcements, and said Public Schools Robertson County was having a construction committee meeting today at 3 o'clock, and it had a list of items on the agenda. So I dug around a little bit and found out Miss Jessica sends this stuff in with our public relations, but it was just nice to see something like that on TV and being announced. It's the first time I've ever seen it. So I'd like to just thank her and just appreciate getting that recognition. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman Simmons and committee members. So we're here today to review or update you on our current status of the Career Center. Over the course of this project, we've had many hands helping us get to where we're at today. But we currently have 2 major changes. I wanted everyone to put a name with a face. One of the biggest changes we had is everybody knows that Michael has been with us since the inception of this project, the architect. Michael has moved on from SFL&A, and he is being replaced by Alban Norwood. And I'll give both of these individuals the opportunity to come up and say a few words about themselves as well. And also, we've had a change. Alban came on board. He's been with this project maybe about 3 months, but took over for Michael about 2 weeks ago, I believe. Metcon has also made a change in our superintendent on the job. Everybody remembers TJ. TJ has moved on to assist with a school in Harnett County. He had already had experience there, and he has been replaced by Randall Bishop. And again, we're going to start this meeting by allowing the 2 of those individuals to just introduce themselves.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Like you said, my name is Randall Bishop. I'm the project manager for the Public Schools of Robeson County, Robeson County Career and Technical Education Center Planetarium. I know it's a mouthful, but yes, I'm the project manager. I've been with Metcon for about 1.5 years now. Started with them. I've been in construction for a little over 7 years now. So, yeah, if you have any questions, I can answer them. But did you want to move right on into the drone video? Oh, that's right. Let's let all. Okay. Got all about all.
I've been told to be efficient with time. My name's Alban Norwood. I'm the project manager and face of the project for SFL&A Architects. Not to correct you, Bobby, I've been working on this project intimately for the past 8 months. I'm very familiar with it. I've worked with Bobby and Dr. Herman, and I would just like to say that I come here humble and grateful for the opportunity to work for you and with you. Thanks.
So Cole, if you will start the video, we're going to start first. If you guys are not aware, every month, Mr. Till goes out and does a drone video of the job site. He has gotten very skilled at this. From my understanding, he's able to pull up to the job site in his van and do all of this while sitting in the van and never has to get out. I think Randall almost locked him in one day while he was there doing the videos while he was on site. So again, we're just going to play this, Cole. You can speed it up if you want to, but if Randall or Alban, if you want to add anything as we watch the video, it won't let you. Okay, and that's what I was afraid of, but we will share this information with you. But again, we have videos monthly. Mr. Teal does several, probably 20 to 30 videos, and we have a drive, and we will just share this drive with you of the, and Miss Jessica as well puts it on our website as new videos come out. So it won't allow us to speed up. We won't show the entire thing, but this gives you a very different perspective of the job site.
So as you can see, those big trenches right there, that's your geothermal. That's half of your geothermal field right there getting tied in all together and into the back of the building there. Your roof is 100% complete. That's the main roof. We've also got some TPO roofing. I do have a handout for this. Some of the items that we are currently working on the project. Now, I believe this video is probably about 3 weeks old, so we do have a little bit more, a few items that are happening right now that aren't in this video. But essentially, starting at the geothermal, we are in Area D, so the area that was added on to the building. You got 4 sections of the building. You got A, B, C, and D, and this is the Area D that holds your culinary, your mechatronics, business industry. That is the one that's, we'll say, not furthest behind, but the one that is was worked on the last. So you'll still see some openings that are still open that we've got to get closed in to dry in the building. This is what we call the sawtooth right here. Starting to move into Area C and now Area B. Right here we have ACMs. Those ACM panels are going on that the outside there. A lot of it's covered up with plastic. There's your planetarium, also covered by the ACM panels. I don't know if you've driven by that thing when it was not covered up, but those are some amazing panels, and that's going to be a sight to see once we have those things finished. We have the stucco. You can't really see it in this picture, but the underside of that big soffit right there is the stucco. That's actually not the finished color. That is the waterproofing that goes on underneath there. And like I said, we have TPO on the building. That is like a fabric type roofing that goes on right there on that flat roof. This is, of course, Area A. Moving along to the back side of the building, we have that concrete right there, all finished up. We've got the overhead doors in. We just have them rolled up to try to mitigate any damage to them. And we are moving around to the back side to try to get the openings in the back all closed up as well. But like I said, this one's probably about 3 weeks or so old. So we've already got that concrete down right there and ready to put in some openings.
Cole, if you want to jump to the inside video.
Okay, so this is part of Area A right here. Again, as I stand today, everything that you see here with studs that you can see is now covered up. We will be starting tile soon. This, one of the classrooms, it's hard to keep track of which ones are which, but there's a classroom right there with the shop in the back. And as we look down, oh, no, there's planetarium, the inside of the planetarium. Those panels come all the way through. That's your main entrance right there. So to the left, what we're looking at right now is Area B. To the right would be Area A in the Science Center. Looking down this building, and I'm telling you, the video doesn't do it justice. This thing is long and grand. And when you stand in it like this, it really catches the eye. But all that right there to the left, that's all covered at this point. Waiting on to do some tile. We've got all of those rooms right there in B, the offices and everything. That's your reception area. All of that has been drywalled, ready to receive the wallpaper that goes on the back there. He flies forward in this, I think he flies forward.
Toward the learning stair.
Okay. All right, and that right there is stair number 1. That's probably going to be your main stair for this area. You've got kind of an exact copy of it, but opposite direction down in area D at the far end of the building. All right, and that's your drafting and design architectural room that I know Auburn loves. They made that thing nice and grand. Can see almost you can see all three sides around that thing. It's a very nice open concept. Again, well, the lower level has been rocked. You can see in that video, but it is all painted as well. Upper is still being rocked as of right now. This right here is your learning stair, and what we say the ellipse. It holds some classrooms, bathrooms, a mechanical room. There's a collaboration room in there, I believe. Yeah, collaboration room. These are all, yeah, office as well. Yep. And so right there, your learning stair, that thing's gonna be covered in wood. And Auburn, you wanna talk to any of that?
Yeah, the learning stair.
Go ahead, right here.
The learning stair with the 18-inch risers, that will be wood. The more functional circulation stair to the right will be LVT. So as we're passing by the ellipse here, you can see area D in the background beyond, way, way off in the distance. As Randall said, this is a long, open, grand building.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and give you some project status updates. So moving to the project financial status. Yeah, everybody should have a handout, this one right here. Yeah. So the project financial status, the billings to date is $40,823,266.94. Total contract, as you may know, is $81,324,319.08. The owner contingency sits at $3,268,832.16. CM contingency sits at $954,641.09. The design contingency sits at $231,768.77. And we do have various allowances on this project for a multitude of things. And those total $1,411,060.41. That is after we've used a few of them already, but that is the balance as of right now. Now the project goals and current status of construction. So some milestone dates that we have: a building dry-in date of 11/28/26. That's we have some float to that. It's not necessary, but that's our goal. But conditional power date of 12/8. We're looking to hit that thing, and I think we're really going to get power on this building before that. As a matter of fact, conditioned air date. This one is the key. You can't put any of your finishes in until you get your conditioned air. And our conditioned air date is January 22nd of 26. Now, the project target end date, we have a plan, and it's been our ambitious goal to always get you guys in here, get the students in here before the next year. So our schedule as of right now shows us ending on 7/31 of 2026. I've discussed this with Bobby. He's been made aware, and he understands that this is like I said, an ambitious goal. I think it's a doable one, but if you've ever worked in construction before or ran any kind of project, you know that there's the unforeseens. That doesn't mean if we hit an unforeseen that it's not going to be made. We will come up with a new plan, and we will always be striving towards that date. We will, of course, be realistic and give you plenty of time to know, all right, we're not going to make this date. You need to make a decision or make other arrangements. But we do want to point out, so our contractual end date is December 18th of 26. So we have really tightened the schedule up. I mean, from the beginning, we've been trying to push these guys, but we tighten the schedule up as much as possible and really pushing them. So number of factors we look into with lapse time and amount of billings, we're showing around 62% complete, but I believe we are at the bell curve of our billings and stuff like that. So we're going to start, or the peak of the bell curve of the billings. So I believe we're going to start seeing a lot more billings, a lot higher billings, and I believe that will jump here in the next couple months. All right. Anybody have any questions? All right.
And so now what we've asked Alvin to do is kind of give us
Ms.
a,
Bobby,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Curry got a question. You got a question, Mr. Curry? Turn your mic back on, Mr. Curry. There you go.
Should those first two dates be 25?
Yes, that should be.
Okay, thank you. I just make sure. That was concerned there.
Let me ask, have you had any issues with materials? Do you anticipate having an issue with that? The tariffs, have that created any problem?
But you do see some tariff surcharges. We have not seen a huge amount. With everything that's in the media, you'd expect to see a lot, and I haven't seen it a whole lot. Okay. I don't keep track of necessarily when things are going to start hitting, but supposedly some things have already hit and they didn't hit. It's hard to keep track of, but I will say that to date, I've maybe seen one or two surcharges, and it wasn't anything significant.
And so now what we've asked Alvin to do is put together a brief slide presentation showing some updated renderings of what the building's going to look like when it's completed. And I think what he's actually done is also compared to where the building's at today and what the finished site will look like.
So a lot of these renderings, many of you will be familiar with already. As Bobby said, what I've done is pair them slide by slide to see sort of like quick shots to really paint the picture of the design that you've approved is exactly the design that you're getting. So you've all seen this basic programming floor plan. It's just sort of nice to kind of retouch on that before we get into the presentation. This render, I especially like. It speaks to the sort of the dual programming nature of the building, where you have the science center and then you have the school itself. So the narrative behind this is the school is closed, the lights are mostly off, but you're having an after hours event at the science center. And it just goes to show that, you know, really there's an opportunity here for something special to be happening in the school at any time of day. So this is a similar angle just to kind of show you the progress of construction. And I know you saw a lot of that on the drone video. We're looking at the front of the building here. Same thing here, an evening event after a heavy rainstorm. I know that Randall and his team at Metcon have managed rain multiple occasions on site and done a great job. So these are the sawtooths that you saw in the drone video. So this is a render of them. And then here you can see them in progress. So proportionally, in terms of the materials that you've approved, everything is going in exactly as it was designed. Here's a rendered view of the planetarium. That cove up there will be lit up at night. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. This is the Science Center vestibule there. So you've got the Science Center vestibule entry and then the main entry vestibule. So this actually was taken all the way back in August. As it stands now, you know, these the ACM panels are on there, right? Okay, the panels are not quite installed on that there, but you can see the ACM panels on the planetarium there. So we won't see this in a construction photograph for a while because it will go in just about last, but that is the front walkway canopy by the drop off so that students will always be out of the rain. And that's what they'll see as they're sort of looking up and coming out of that front walkway canopy. So we can see those color changing blue, green ACM panels there on the planetarium and the main vestibule entry right dead center. This one I like. It shows some of the alternates that you've accepted. There, the striping on the crosswalk was an alternate that was accepted. That ties into all of the interior sort of graphic and wall covering that's inside the building. Rendered view taken at midday. Here we see area D with the curtain wall. On the far right there, you've got the outdoor patio area, which if you get a chance to go out to site sometime soon, when you stand out there underneath that large overhang, really feels special. This is a new render. I don't think any of you have seen it before. So we're looking at reception, where you see that C-Tech sign on the wall through that curtain wall. So that's reception there. And we're kind of looking up at the sort of the big white ACM box that's above us, and we can see all the way clear through the vestibule curtain walls, and that you can kind of see it, but that's carpentry in the background where you see those letters. And that guy seems really happy. I think he's studying welding, but that's just a theory of mine. The planetarium, it is still early days on the planetarium, but shortly I think we'll have some really exciting progress images to share from the interior. Drafting engineering, I can't imagine how it got such a nice classroom. This one is really one for one. So this view here, looking through the curtain wall at the panels on the planetarium, and then there, it's almost the same view. So now we're in area C, looking towards area D. All the way at the end there, you see the area D curtain wall. The graphic wall covering you see on the left here above the tile portals relates to the crosswalk striping that we saw outside. And I don't really want to step away from the mic to point at this material board here, but this is the final approved sample material board that's in front of me here. With the exception of the two types of approved LVT flooring, everything on that board is what you originally approved. So you got exactly what you approved. The reason for that LVT is because the manufacturer just stopped making it. So we got something else that I actually think looks better, and it's very similar. So here we can see all the way on the end there, those last two tile portals there, those are your business industry 1 and 2. And that's business industry 1 and 2 there in area D. There's going to be a frame wall up in front of that in no time. Over on your right there, that's mechatronics, which I think is about 3,500 square feet. It's a big classroom. There's a lot of equipment going into that classroom. So just to kind of tie it back to this render where you can see mechatronics on the right and then business industry on the left all the way at the end of area D. Another view of mechatronics, that curtain wall you see to the top left is the area D curtain wall. Culinary. The ellipse that Randall mentioned in the drone video with the learning stair. So there you can see the learning stair itself with the wood finish and the vinyl clad circulation steps going up to the right of it. The whole ellipse is tiled. And then if you were to continue walking down I believe, young lady wearing a blue denim shirt walking all the way down there, you would see Area D on your right as you go past the ellipse and the learning stair. The exposed structure is going to be really something special to see. So there's the ellipse and the learning stair. This photograph was taken 10/16, so not that long ago. If you look to the left of the ellipse, you can see what Randall was referencing. All of those portals have been gypped, and it really is something special to see. We'll be able to see a little bit more of it here. This is a view, Area C, looking at Area B and Area A. You see the classroom portals on the right. That's stair number 1 on the left with the planetarium beyond. This one really kind of captures that view, but this is a slightly older photo. This one is very recent, and look at how clean those classroom portals look. You can really start to see the space coming together. The Science Center, this is where we have that really, really awesome wall graphic with the astronaut and the rocket ship. So, the Science Center makerspace is the area that we saw lit up in some of those earlier building renders that showed an event happening at the Science Center at night. So this is where all that would happen, would occur. And a almost identical view. This is the Science Center looking towards the planetarium. This is a recently approved alternate. So this is the LED monumental sign. I don't know how many of you have seen this. So we did not want to distract from the building. The front of the building is something special, but we wanted to pull from design elements that already existed in the building. So we took the white ACM panels. Bless you. We took the ACM panels that you see featured on the planetarium, but instead of having them be that vibrant blue-green color changing, these will be a white gold color changing finish on those panels. The brick you see there with the cast stone sill will match the brick and the cast stone sills on the building. The exposed structure will be finished the same color as the exposed structure on the interior of the building. So that kind of just sort of ties everything back into what's happening in the building itself without being a distraction. The LED sign will be two-sided. So regardless of which way you're driving there, on the road, you'll be able to see a render of the building or displayed information, relating to what's going on at the school that day, something that's relevant to parents, teachers, the community at large. I think it's going to be something really special. So these are just a couple rendered views. This is actually in shop drawings right now, and it's going to turn out exactly as you see here. So I did a quick massing all the way in the background. That's the building, and that round sort of white mass back there is the planetarium. So just to kind of gauge, to give you a gauge of, how far away from the building it is so as not to distract, but will also be very prevalent on the road frontage. That's all I've got. Does anybody have any questions?
How many parking spaces will we have there?
Parking spaces, I think off the top of my head, I know that the number of parking spaces that was requested is what you have. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head right now, but I can get that to you shortly after this. I have a count on my computer.
So I do remember we did enough for at least 10 to 12 buses because we knew we were going to increase our enrollment for during the day. But we also increased the parking to accommodate students that may be driving during the day. But bus parking, I know, is 10 to 12.
Okay, and then each high school design, is that still part of this as we enter the building?
It is. Let me see if I can go back here. It's kind of hard to see in the one render, but
We call that the John Special.
I don't have it on the slide.
Gotta have it for everybody.
Oh, sorry. I missed it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Herbert. So if you look close on the right side of reception, you'll see each school logo around the PSRC logo. It's kind of hard to see. So each school will have, oh, I'm so sorry. I hit the wrong button there. Let me go back. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh, thanks. I don't have it as a slide. Yeah, absolutely. So essentially the concept is, and I'll send a PDF to Bobby so he can share with everybody, but you've got a 3-foot diameter PSRC logo that's going to be painted on metal. And then the same paint on metal finish will feature the school logos, sort of evenly arranged in a circle around it. So as you walk into reception, you'll understand that, this is C-Tech, but it's not an umbrella school. It's made up of, the contributions and everything from all of the other schools that are going to be feeding, talent and information into the CTE program. I think it's going to look really cool when you walk into reception, actually. And I'll make sure Bobby gets that. I get that to Bobby right after this meeting if he doesn't have it handy. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
And so to add to Dr. Williamson's questions about the high school, so we've also included early college in there. Our original conversation was just to do the 5 traditional high schools. But when we started our discussions and planning, we said, we never know, at some point, early college kids might have the opportunity to come there. So to include them as well. Also along this back reception wall, Auburn, if I'm not mistaken, is where we're going to put our 2 dedication plaques.
That's correct.
Yes. So we have that as standalone. And so what we decided to do with the dedication plaques, there would be one for our county commissioners and then one for school board, because we figured it would get too big if we tried to put everybody on one. So there will be 2 dedication plaques along that wall. I just want to highlight 2 or 3 quick things. So this is the updated color schemes or materials that are going to be in the building. If there had to be some deviations, we stayed within that as close as range as possible, because we knew that colors were going to be important. So when we made those initial decisions, we tried to stay with those. Also, Cole, can you hit the sign? For us, we know that this is going to be a selling point when folks drive by. So it is our intent, if we have not run power, we've already discussed running power out there. So the sign, Randall, we've discussed having the sign available prior to the building being available. So there will be an opportunity for us if we want to advertise things, because a lot of our folks still drive by the building and have absolutely no idea what's there. As good as press as Jessica and her staff have put out, as many times as we've talked about this, there's still a large portion of our community who just simply do not know what's going there. So it is our goal to have this ready before the building opens. And the last thing I want to highlight, and I want to make sure that everyone understood, Randall, I know we have been talking about that December 26th opening date, and that's kind of what we've been saying from day one. But in our conversations with Randall, the last 2 to 3 months, it does seem feasible and possible that at the beginning of school next year, we will have students in that building. So wanted to take the time to make sure that you guys were aware of that and understand that we've got a tight timeline coming up to get our high schools prepared for new schedules, possibly staffing some new programs that we have there, but just also, and I think Erica's going to touch on this in a little bit, when we talked about Area D and the funding part there. But I'm excited that we're going to be there 3, 4, 5 months earlier, because again, I think I might have shared this with you guys. I was one of the lucky ones 40 some years ago, maybe a little longer, that was able to walk into a new school at some point in time. Although it was December or January, it still felt good to walk in and see brand new floors, brand new desks, brand new everything. And just imagine what our kids are going to feel like, hopefully, Randall, next August. And I think, yes. So any questions for us before Miss Erica starts?
Bobby, I want to add, we're going to operate from that August, having students in the building, which means in the new year, sometime in January, it's our intent to advertise for a principal. We just think with this new facility, we advertise for a principal, see who's interested, not saying that our current principal is not, but we think we just want to do that. And so that would happen because we're going to need a principal in place so we can be ready. So again, it's our intent to open that up and advertise, see who's interested.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
We have Ms. Erica with the CTEC SCIF grant funding.
Good evening. Thank you, Chairman Simmons, Dr. Williamson, and board members. I included at your desk just a very generic breakdown of the expenses that were mentioned earlier, the Metcon contract, the SFLNA contract. And between those two, the school will cost $87,780,170.08. I also wanted to include the current revenue that we have and break that down into the needs base of one sheeter that says CTEC funding breakdown at the top. We received a needs-based lottery from the state, $62 million. Robeson County gave a $2.5 million match, which has been paid. PSRC also did a $2.5 million match, which has been paid. We have received a SCIFI grant directly from the General Assembly and $5 million, and those funds are on hand in our local account. Where it says match not determined, so the state gave us an additional $12 million that's included in the 62, and there's a 5% match to that. And we have to discuss with the county if that is PSRC going to pay that total or if it's going to be split like the other part of the match was. And that gives us a total project funding of $72,599,841, which shows us the $15 million that we have asked the county to finance for us to finish the project. And I can answer any questions anybody has about that at this point.
All right,
Okay.
no question. Thank you, Ms. Erica.
Thank you.
Next is the CTE construction finance, I'm sorry, deed and lease, Robertson County, Mr. Alex. You can do it then.
Hey, good afternoon. So to Erica's point about the $15 million that we're talking about, our office has been in conversation with the county attorney's office to figure out how to work on that. The county's planning on financing the CTEC and planetarium. Their initial plan, they're building a health department building at the same time, and the initial plan was to have the health department building be the collateral for the both loans. In working with their bond attorneys, it's going to take much longer for them to get their guaranteed maximum price on that health department. So it's not going to be feasible based on the construction timeline to work in that manner. The goal is for them to create a deed and a lease with Public Schools of Robeson County to deed that property over to the county, so that the county has ownership for collateral on that loan. With the intent, it depends on what their bond attorneys can work out, but with the intent that once the health department is there, that lien on the property would then transfer over to the health department and not be on the CTE center. That's a long shot, but there's hope there, and we're crossing our fingers, and we're going to do everything we can with the county and their bond attorneys to try to get that to work. The county is working on the deed and the lease. That's going to be on their end to get it done. And the hope is to have it ready for the November board meeting, given the timeline that we're working on. And then we're going to continue to work with the county on other funding and cost saving things for the project. And I'm happy to take any questions that the board may have at this time.
Mr. Craig and Dr. Williams.
I know we talked about earlier doing this, and this was the way to get the money and go ahead and take care of this. But then my question is, listening to you talk, we hope to get this done and transfer this, and it was like, we hope to get this done. I mean, if it's not done, what happens?
I would hope to not worry about that. The county's going to have to finance it one way or another, and the
Okay.
deed should be fairly simple. It's a pretty standard process when the county's financing construction for a school board to have this deed and lease transfer over to the county, just because they need some kind of collateral on their loan to be able to actually get it. It's a fairly simple process. It's just the timeline wise, I don't think that it should be an issue. But it's not a complicated process, particularly on that end. It wasn't planned initially, and we only got told by the county a couple weeks ago, I think right before your last board meeting, that this was going to happen, the day before. So it's just because their plans fell through on the health department piece, but this one should be a fairly simple process.
Alex, will that require LGC approval?
I'll work out with the county attorney on that one. I think that if they're required to get it, I don't think you guys on your end would be required to get it, but they may be. And in that case, again, that would be on them to work on it. But we're working with their attorneys on that.
Ms. Erica?
I just wanted to mention, this is not the first time we have had this situation. We previously had qualified zone bonds and what I called QZAB bonds. And the county took ownership of Lumberton Junior High temporarily while we fulfilled the terms of that financing as well. That was for about $10.5 million several years ago. So it's like Alex said, it's pretty common.
And
Yes.
the way that those deed and lease agreements work is that they'll say that you will have a lease agreement that allows you guys to own and operate the property as the board would. The deed would have a condition in it that it would transfer back to the Board of Education once the loan has been completely paid off and satisfied. So you're not really losing your property to the county there. You're giving it to the county for the life of the loan so that they have collateral, since they're taking the loan out in their name. So you're not losing the property. It's just for the purposes of collateral for the loan. And so it shouldn't be too difficult.
Anyone else? All right, next is the ESSER project update. Ms. Erica?
Also, at your desk, you should see a kind of one pager that starts with fiscal year 2025, 26 at the top and shows PSU and then 181 ARP ESSER funding. And this is just confirmation of the total dollar amount that was outstanding when we started this ESSER process, $14,328,382.10. We have submitted two requests to the federal government and received both of those for a total of $7,592,459.72. And our available balance is $6.735,922.38. And so I'll be submitting another request this week, and it's just a slow process. We pay a Snyder bill of either 2.1, 1.8, they're varying amounts. And then we do the request again to the federal government, and it's on reimbursable basis now. But this is actually from our cash management system with DPI to verify those dollar amounts. Any questions?
So Erica, I asked you the other day, I asked in this meeting, we do not anticipate not being able to make that March deadline.
No, sir. They're finishing up now with all the windows, so we should have all of those bills really quick. It's just a slower process. The second time, it only took about 3 weeks to get the reimbursement. The first time was about 6, so as long as we get those reimbursements in, at that speed, we shouldn't have a problem at all. All the bills will be presented for payment well in advance. As I think Alyssa mentioned, the last thing that Snyder's gonna have outstanding is a small bill for Lumberton HVAC that won't come in until December because of, when those parts came in. But other than that, we'll have everything billed out really soon.
And Bobby, so, and we have that part in the warehouse, correct, somewhere? The gearbox, I think it is.
So the switchgear arrived a couple of months ago, and that is stored in a bonded warehouse that is part of Snyder's co-op of facilities.
Mr. Brett?
The 2 million that we took out of reserve, when are we putting it back in? What is our intentions on that?
So we won't actually be able to recoup that until the end, we get all these funds back, because right now what we're doing is using that money, getting it back. So it's kind of an in and out. But once we finish with the 14.3, that will be back in our reserves.
Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Bobby. OCR review, CTE.
CT. So one of our major projects, or 3 major projects that were part of the CTE, was providing handicap accommodated bleachers in all of our gyms. So they are currently wrapping up that set of bleachers over at Red Springs High. That should be done within the next week or so if they're not already complete. The next 2 gyms that we will move forward with after that will be St. Paul's High and Fairmont High. But of course, we will wait till after basketball season before we move forward with completing that. Our team has been working steadily. If you've been to some of the high schools, you notice we have additional handicap marked spaces. I believe at Fairmont High, if I'm not mistaken, they've taken all of the front parking lot to accommodate for handicap. So our team is working through that process as quickly as possible so that we're not expending additional funds to make our buildings or fulfill the review from OCR for CTE.
Any questions? If not, Mr. Bobby, capital outlay projects.
Okay, so for the 24-25 capital outlay projects, we approved 3 roofs. And so I just want to give you a status on where we're at with those 3 roofs. And I contacted our engineer, so Purnell Sweat. They should have their equipment on site tomorrow. The issue with Purnell Sweat is we were hoping to get that done back in the summer, but that is an exposed roof, and the bottom side of the roof had to be painted white, and that was just material they could not find in a timely manner. So now that they've got the material on there, they should start working on that hopefully next week, and it won't take them long. Now, that is a complete roof replacement, so they will remove the existing roof and have to put a new roof down. So hopefully we will get a few weeks of dry weather for that work to take place. Both Chapel and Parkton, DPI has approved a set of plans for those, but as Mr. Britt alluded to earlier, we've kind of asked our engineer to let's hold off on that until we can get some additional funds into our capital outlay. But we do have those projects are on go. They've been bid. We're just asking for the folks to wait. Littlefield Sewer is a holdover project that we've had for about 2 years now. Soil sample is finally in. We're able to work all of that through, and hopefully we can sit down with our engineer and the gentleman that will put that sewer system in for us in the next couple of weeks and begin working on that, so we are no longer pumping and hauling at Littlefield. Last update I have is we were asked to add Long Branch. So I spoke with Mr. Ray today. That project should start next week or as soon as the contractor finishes up at Pembroke Elementary, and the Long Branch project was an emergency. So that is where we're at on on the projects that were approved for this school year.
Any questions? Mr. Bradley, I'm sorry. Turn it back on again. There you go.
Mr. Bowdy, at Long Branch, what will that consist of? Is that just the main building? Or is that the media center as well, or what's going on with
So
that?
it's my understanding where the attention's going to be placed next week is that main building around the dog, what they're calling the dog houses along the front.
Would that be a total roof replacement there, or just
No, that would be,
removing that?
yeah,
Okay.
removing those and repair.
And I know that we've discussed in the past the media center where it leaks bad. I didn't know if that was going to be part of this or not.
Okay, let me get with Mr. Ray, because what I was aware of is the front part, and he may have addressed our conversation was along the front part. Let me
Okay.
see if this has addressed the media center, and I will get back with you on that one.
Thank you. Yeah. And the main reason was I walked in there and saw tarps like over the computers. And I'm like, what are we doing here? And asked, and that was the thing, there's brand new flooring in there. I think it was replaced last year. So that was
Yeah, because that
one of my main
building,
concerns.
yeah,
with
because that building is flooded a few times in our storms.
Anyone else? You have anything else, Ellis? If not, is that it? We'll adjourn then. Thank y'all.